chance to get back in this week?
Look, he's a chance and it's really tempting. He'll train today, but I would think we'll err on the side of caution with Andrew. I mean, I'm really confident that he could get out and perform well and not be at any risk of getting injured. But I mean, the prudent thing to do would be to give him another full game in the VFL and get him back, somewhere close to his best. As great as the temptation is to try and get him in before the bye, we'll probably go with pretty close to the 22 that got the job done over in Perth, and with the exception of Scotty Thompson coming back in.
Is it more because of the nature of the injury, or is it because it's hard to get someone out of the side?
No, it's nothing to do with the nature of the injury. I mean, the Achilles has been really good for a long time. It's just been getting enough conditioning into him and getting him match fit and playing at his best. I mean, as good a player as he is, when you've had this long a layoff, it takes a long time to get back to your best, and we're not interested in putting him at risk, both from an injury perspective but also from the perspective of not playing his best footy.
Was he pretty honest with you, or was he?
Yeah.
It seems like, I think he's admitted that he was pretty tired and couldn't really see out the match. It wasn't like he was trying to do anything possible and say anything to get into this team.
Yeah, look, I think he would love to play, and I think he's really confident that he could get through. But he's that sort of player and person that he wouldn't bluff his way through. He knows that he's got to be out there at his best, and the 3 quarters he played last week were pretty impressive. A bit rusty early, but 23 possessions in 3 quarters. That's a pretty good footy.
Is it an easier decision given the team's travelling pretty well?
Well, it is in a way. I mean, it means that we're more comfortable with the decision because we'll back the players that have done the job for us in the past. But I think, as with any injured player, regardless of their status in the game and their experience, this is a hard game we play, and if you're any less than 100%, it's very, very difficult for them to compete against any team in the AFL these days.
Going pretty well if Daniel Wells can't get a spot. Is that what we read into that?
Well, again, he won't train today, so he's in a different situation. He's only missed a couple of games and he's really fit. So with Wells, we'll give him right up until the last minute to prove his availability. But again, I can guarantee you if he's playing, he'll be 100%. Because if he's any less than that, it's not fair to Wellsy, it's not fair to the team, and we'll be playing guys who are fit and ready to play.
Matt Jack did enough to retain his spot?
I thought he was really good for us. Yeah, I thought he'll definitely play. He was fantastic against Sandilands in the ruck, and the challenge doesn't come any bigger than that. And I thought he gave us some real X factor, some great defensive pressure, and I've been keen to get him in the side for a while. It's just been his lack of conditioning and lack of game time in the pre-season that's held him back.
How's the group all pulled up after the trip west? Sometimes they can be a bit taxing.
Well, when you win, you come back a lot better, I can tell you. And we haven't experienced that too often. So it was. We've got a 9-day break now. So I mean, the trip back from Perth, we've managed the guys really well. The playing group and the leaders are really determined to get the job done this week. And they've said themselves that we feel that if we don't get the job done this week, last week will count for nothing. So I think you'll see a pretty determined group this week.
So Brad, is it a case of no excuses then from the trip back to Perth?
There never have been.
Have you monitored things differently or changed things up? Because obviously this year the theme has been sides have struggled on the return.
Well, look, we back our conditioning, we back our staff, and we've had short breaks the last 2 weeks, and they've never been an excuse. We came back from Sydney on a short break. We had a short break going over to Perth. We didn't use them as excuses then, and we certainly won't be after a 9-day break now. So, we're ready to play, and we'd play tomorrow if the game was on.
Your understanding of the roof situation, is it going to be closed this week, and if so, when do you find out?
Surely you know my answer about the roof status by now, but I think we've got a new CEO now, so and Gil's made it really clear that he's going to listen to the players, listen to the fans, listen to the broadcasters, so maybe you should ask them what they think.
Because Guy came out this week and said, well, why isn't it closed? Surely it should be. So
it's 12 months behind the news then, if that's the case. Look, I think that you've got to engage your key stakeholders. The fans are the most important, and clearly the players are very important and the broadcasters are very important. So, to me, they're the people you should be asking. I'm just the coach. So you ask those three key stakeholders and get their opinion and make a decision based on that.
Just on Gill, Brad, what do you see as his main issues he should face as a Good Friday footy equalisation from your point of view?
I think he's got a really tough job. It's the most coveted sports administration position in this country, and I think Gill's really well equipped. Done a fantastic apprenticeship. He's a really intelligent guy, and I think all clubs are rapt to have him. I think our sport and our game is in really good hands with him at the helm, and that's I think. Again, Andrew Demetrio's done an unbelievable job. He's just been fantastic in growing the game, and the game's in great shape. So I think Gill takes over at a great time, but there are always going to be challenges in our game, and but I think that we couldn't be in better hands with Gill at the helm. As for the challenges that he's got to address, well, that's up to him, not me, luckily.
Obviously, Gaz gives any opposition coach headaches, but last year he was particularly ruthless against you guys. Do you try anything different or more of the same?
Oh, he was no better against us than he has been against anyone else, which is to say he was exceptional. But look, I mean, Gary's been a great player for a long time, and that hasn't always translated into wins for the Gold Coast. So, they're starting to win now, and Gary's output is at the same level, if not better. But I think if you start thinking too much about Gary, you forget about Mira and Swallow and Prestia and Richatelli, and they're building a really good midfield now. So I think they'll back their midfield against ours, and we'll largely have to do the same and not focus too much on one player.
You talk about their midfield. Last year they smashed you in the clearances and the contested possessions, so is that going to be a real focus this week?
We focus on the clearance and contested possessions every week. Last year's game's really irrelevant, played in really wet conditions. We were very, very poor. They were very, very good. But so long ago that we'll focus more on their last 4 weeks than on something that happened 12 months ago.
You mentioned how hard it is to break into this side. Scott Thompson, is he a chance to play this week?
No, he'll definitely play. Yeah, he'll come straight back in.
How about Mason Wood? Is he close to getting a game?
Yeah, really close. I think it's really, we're really fortunate. I mean, Robbie Tarrant has had a long-term injury, but we're hopeful he's not far away. Ben Brown, who we drafted as a mature age player from Werribee, is a 200-centimetre key forward ruck. Hopefully we'll make his comeback this week. And I've got Mason coming through, so I think our key forward stocks are in good shape. And Mason's knocking on the door, and if he gets his opportunity, I'm sure he'll take it.
If Gold Coast have to sort of put another makeshift ruckman in like they had to last week, you were talking about Majak there before. Do you think that's an advantage that you guys could have with Majak and Goldie?
Potentially. I think that Rory Thompson, people see him now as a fullback, and he is a great fullback. He's really emerging as an established key defender, but he was drafted as a ruckman. Charlie Dixon was drafted as a key forward ruckman. Daniel Garinge, who sits in their reserve side, is a first-round draft pick ruckman. They've got no shortage of ruck stocks, so it'll just be what they choose to do with selection, but whoever they put out there will present a challenge for Madge and Goldie.